Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Everything Spice. My name is Tanya. Happy Father's Day to all you daddies out there. Yes, this is your day, this is your day. But today, I know, it's Daddy's Day. We want meat and potatoes, but we're not getting it. Today, what I am doing on this channel is I am making favish. Now, for some of you out there, that might be a treat. Now, I grew up with a French mother and a Portuguese father. Okay, so I'm not 100%, I'm actually a mixed breed. But I like to cook international, and I certainly do like to cook more of what my heritage is. So I am going to attempt, and all you Portuguese people out there, please be kind, okay? I've never made favish before, but I am going to attempt to make a traditional favish stew, what they call it. So it's got tomato in it, right? Onions and garlic, all the good stuff. And it starts with this, which is my favish beans. And I have them soaking overnight because these are dried, and I rehydrated them with water overnight. And what I'm gonna do is, I know some of you are gonna be like, what? I'm gonna distract you. I went to the Portuguese store. There we go. Yeah, baby, yeah. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I got two. Yes, I did. A matching set of Portuguese. Look at this, chickens, right? Roosters, baby. Okay, I'm distracting you because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and maybe you might not get as mad at me. I am going to make favish in a slow cooker. What? I know. But it needs a long cooking, and the only way to do it is through a slow cooker, my friends, because, you know, busy women, right? Busy women, we gotta chop, chop. So I'm gonna attempt to make it in a slow cooker today. So I'm gonna set it and forget it. So join me on the other side while I attempt to make favish stew on Everything Spice in a slow cooker. Shh, don't tell anybody. It'll be our secret. Stay tuned. All right, so let's get to it. What I have for this is I already have the favish soaking, right? What I did was I skinned some of them. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I put them in the crock pot. See? And I took off the skins. So it was a little labor intensive, but I did all that. So you can take some of the skins off if you just roll it between your fingers, just like that, and the skins come off. You don't have to do this, but I kind of like it, and it just makes it more, I don't know, digestible, if you want to hear it, if you want to use a term. So I got all those inside my crock pot. I'm going to show you later, but I got a pan going on low, and I have onions, and I'm going to cut the onions up, and you can chop them, you know what I mean, like this. Basically, chop them like that. I'm just gonna sizzle in the pan because I have the pan ready. Right. I'm gonna do all of these onions and put them in the pan to saute. And this is the start of something great. And then after that, I'm going to chop up some chorizo. And this is the smoked chorizo you get at the store, okay? The substitution could be chorizo, but it is going to make it different, okay? It's not going to be the same product. But I'm going to slice them up, and I'm going to also put them in the pan to give them that flavor from there. Garlic in the pan as well, okay? Let me show you a little bit what I'm doing here. And all this stuff really makes the flavor of this favish stew, if you've ever had it. Now I'm using 3 onions for this. And it's a method, right? Always what I say, it's a method. So you can take the method or leave it. You don't have to use all of these onions. You can use onion powder if you have an aversion to onion, but I personally love it. And I got tomato sauce as well, and that's going to go in. Let me hurry up and get some stuff so I can show you this. Get your fingers out of the way, because when you're in a hurry, bad things can happen to your fingers, and we don't want that. We don't want it, baby. Okay, now, here we go. And we have seasonings, right? So we're going to get these to be translucent. It takes about a minute or so for that to happen. I'm going to season it. And yes, I had my episode, the last episode that I did, I had a viewer complain that I only use salt on my steak. You know who you are, Chase. But it is what it is. I choose to use the minimalist when it comes to steak. You can use salt, pepper, whatever. It is a method. It is not written in stone. You don't have to go with the seasonings that I use. But for this particular dish, it makes it Portuguese, okay? So what I'm going to use before I add anything else is salt and pepper. And that's just the basics of it, is the salt and pepper. I'm also going to use garlic. And what I have here is a minced garlic. You can chop and drop your own if you want to, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to put some garlic in as well. And you can use as much or as little as you want. I'm using quite a bit of garlic in this because I love it. I have parsley here dried, but I also have fresh parsley that I'm going to add in the end. I got bay leaves. I'm going to use a couple of those, and I'm going to use a pinch or two of Portuguese allspice, which is my favorite go-to. And what else do I got here? What else? I'm going to put some garlic powder in. I know I have garlic, but whatever. Some red pepper flakes, a couple of zhuzhes of that, and some tomato sauce, not tomato paste, tomato sauce. Any brand will do. Some fresh parsley to finish it off at the end, and that's it, basically. Then we add the favish. And this is just the start of it because I'm slow cooking this tomorrow. I'm just getting this started so that they have all of this prepared, and it's going to be 8 hours in a slow cooker. Oh my goodness. This is going to be so yummy, but this is just a method. You can use more or less of whatever it is, and every Portuguese family does their favish different, but this is how I'm doing it. So I'm going to let this go a little bit, take this out, put it in my slow cooker. Let me show you what the slow cooker is so that you get an idea. Okay, and I have an oval slow cooker. Okay, here we go. This is my oval slow cooker, and this is what the favish look like. See? These were soaked overnight in water, okay? Covered a couple of times, and this is what they look like. So this is a whole pan of this favish, and this is going to go 8 hours on low in the slow cooker once this is all prepared, okay? And that is how I am going to make this wonderful favish stew. You could take out the chorizo if you wanted to make it a vegetarian dish, but I'm using the chorizo because I like the juices from it. So join me on the other side when I show you what it looks like in the crock pot. And this is going to sit overnight so that the flavors can marry. And then after that, we're going to put it all together. We're going to cook it for 8 hours on low, and you're going to see what it looks like in the end. Favish stew. Everything spice. And right now, what I did was I sliced the chorizo, yay thick, and I am sauteing them. Come to the pan. And I'm sauteing them in the pan, right? Just as is. And low and slow is the way to go with this kind of chorizo. And what will happen is, as it sits low and slow, as it's working its magic, the juice from the chorizo is going to make a sauce. So it's going to be even more added flavor. That's why I say it's delicious to have. It's part of the dish and everything. But if you have an aversion to meat, or even pork, because this is a pork product, right? You could add, they have chicken chorizo that you can add if you had an aversion to pork, or you could just omit it altogether and just have the vegetables if you wanted to make it vegetarian. So I'm just giving you that option. This is the method that I'm using. This is what I'm using here. And I'm also going to do the same thing, pepper, salt. Not too much salt though, because chorizo does have a lot of salting. That's the process that it's made with. It's smoked, right? But I'm going to add season as I go along, salt and pepper. So don't worry about it, Chase. I got you. I got you when it comes to seasoning, baby. This is a little bit different than the steak. But if you want to add more than salt to your steaks, I am not saying you don't. You can't do it. And everything spice. Let me explain everything spice to those of you that don't understand everything spice and what I meant by that. The term everything spice does not mean that I use every spice in every meal. The term everything spice is everything that I cook has a spice element to it, whether it's salt, whether it's sugar. Well, sugar isn't a spice, but it is. Sugar and spice and everything nice, right? Cinnamon, whatever the case may be, I use a seasoning in everything that I cook. That's what everything spice means. If I've never explained that before, you know, how many episodes that I've done here on this channel, sorry. I want to correct myself here in this episode. So I don't use every spice in every meal. I do use a spice in every meal. There you go. So join me on the other side when I assemble all of this together. Because right after this, after I saute my chorizo, I'm going to put it into the crock pot. And I'll show you what I did here. I'm already starting to assemble the onions and the garlic and all that went inside with the favish. So once I get some juices from the chorizo low and slow, right? I'm not going to cook it all the way through because it's going to cook, well, tomorrow for the 8 hours. I just want a little bit of liquid, and you can see that it's already starting. It's already starting to get the little bit of liquid. The best method for chorizo, and I'm not sure if it's the same for chorizo as it is for kielbasa, but for this particular meat, low and slow is the best way to go, because then it, I don't know how you would say it, it releases its juices as it slowly cooks. The fat melts from the sausage, and it makes just such a delicious flavor that is so distinctive for Portuguese cooking. So join me on the other side when you see all of this assembled, because I'm going to start my sauce, which is the tomato sauce, and then all of the spices are going to go into that. So hang in there, Chase. The time is coming here where I'm going to put all these spices together, and you're going to see it. Join me on the other side. So here's the sauce. This is the tomato sauce. It's starting to bubble. So we're going to put some spices up in here. Put a little more garlic. Not too much. We don't want it to be overpowering because we do have already enough, right? Let me get my salt. I haven't really put too much salt in anything. Salt goes in right here, the tomatoes. Okay. Voila. I don't put too much because, like I said, chorizo has its own salt. So I'm going to put some red pepper flakes in. And you can use as much as, or as little as you want. I got some dried parsley. I just like the contrast between dried and fresh. You don't have to use the fresh at all if you don't want to. You can just use dried. Garlic powder, even though we have garlic in there, I'm going to use a little bit more. There you go, mine's is like dried out, so what the heck. Good thing I have the fresh. Then I'm going to use a little bit of cilantro. I know cilantro isn't Portuguese, but I love it in everything. So there you go. And let me see. I got my fresh, and I'm going to use, now that it's bubbling, I'm going to use water to thin it out. Okay. And this is going to make the sauce. I'm going to use a whole thing. What is this, like 16 ounces or 2 cups of water to thin that out. And that's also going to thicken as it cooks, right? So the seasonings that I'm going to use, it's an allspice package, right? This is a Portuguese seasoning that I got in the market. It said Portuguese seasoning on it. I'm going to use a little bit of that, as well as a pinch or 2 of allspice. And I know that some people won't use this because it is an overpowering smell, but I love it in everything, and I'm going to use it. So we got some fresh bay leaves. I just cracked them open, and the smell of fresh bay leaves, these were vacuum packed. They're so good. I'm going to use a couple of them. Or you can omit them. Like I said, it's up to you. I'm going to use 2 or 3 of these. So good. The smell of bay leaves. Smell it, smell it, smell it! It's delicious. Get that in the water. Sit that in the water, and it's gonna thicken up as it sits, this sauce. Believe it, please believe it or not. Okay, we got the red peppers. We're gonna higher it just a bit so it has a little bit more oomph to it. Then we have the fresh parsley that I'm gonna throw in at the end. The longer you cook fresh, the browner it can get. So that's why I'm gonna try to throw it in at the end. It is gonna go, yes it is, gonna go into a crock pot, but it's not gonna be the same, okay, as if it was sitting in a pot. It'll be fine. So this is gonna bubble, okay? It's gonna thicken up too as it boils in this pan, or simmers, using the culinary term simmer versus boil. And it'll thicken just a bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it into the crock pot. And it'll sit overnight and marry with all the other flavors of the favish, the onions, the garlic, the chorizo. And then tomorrow morning, 8 hours on low, okay? And then join me on the other side when we put this all together and we serve this delicious bowl of favish stew. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side, everyone. Okay, so this is the final reveal. 2 days, and we finally got favish. This was on high. I did try it on low, and it didn't work. I had to do additional hours, so I would say at least 4 to 6 hours on high. Keep, check after that amount of time just to see the tenderness. And then it became perfecto. Let me show you what I mean. Here it goes. Yum, what's under the lid? Come to the lid. Ooh, sorry if that's a little steamy, baby. It's a little steamy. Let me serve you up a bowl. Look at this deliciousness with the chorizo. Almost became like a porridge. So yeah, there's some whole pieces. So this is the, look at that. That's goodness right there. Let me tell you that. And let me serve you up a bowl of this lusciousness. This will be your portion, my friends. And like I said, it has to be on high for a while because I had it on low for about 8 hours, which still it wasn't ready yet until I put it on high. So now it is delicioso, it is perfecto, it is perfect. And then you gotta fish out some of these bay leaves. You don't want that in your porridge. Put them back in. And you can omit them if you don't like bay leaves. But of course, take some of these bigger pieces so people know it's favish. Look at that. Now that is what I'm talking about. This is going to be a meal in itself. So perfect. And all we really need is some parsley to finish. Look at that. Yummy, 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 yummy. Warms the cockles of your heart, my friends. I can shut this off now and be happy that it's actually finito. Look at that. This is so yummy and delicious. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you, please like and subscribe. And join me next time for Everything Spice. Have a wonderful day, everyone. For all you fathers out there, I know it's not going to be Father's Day when you get this video, but happy Father's Day to all of you. Take care. Be safe.